Hello FJA students, welcome to another entry into our Math Interactive Notebooks. Today we are going to be doing an entry into our interactive notebooks on an intro or kind of a review of exponents. So that's what we'll call it. You are going to need this piece of paper from your packet, so just this top one right there. You're going to need your math notebook. You will need a pencil. You will need scissors, glue, and then having a colored pen or a marker could be really nice to add some color to this. So as always, we're going to start by cutting out, on this piece of paper, you're only going to need 1/2 of this. This is a double, so we're going to cut around on the dotted lines, but not on the solid lines. So there's one little line here. Follow along as I do that. Excellent. So now we've opened our notebooks to the next page, write exponent review on top, and then on this piece of paper, you should have cut this line, fold up so that it folds on the solid line right there, and then flip it over, and we're going to put glue on the back here, not on that folded part, so just on this L shape, and then we're going to glue it down like that. Don't forget to cap your glue. I've let a few glue sticks dry out already this year. So here, what I'm going to have you all do is get a nice colored marker, and then right here, we're going to make a really large 3. And I also labeled it base. Then on this piece of paper, we've got our base here, and now we're going to label our exponents. So for our example here, we're going to do 3 to the 4th. So maybe get a different color here and write 4. All right, so I wrote 4 as the exponent. And so 3 to the 4th is equal to 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. So remember, the base is what we're multiplying, and we're multiplying the base by itself however many times is indicated in our exponent. So 3 to the 4th is 3 times itself 4 times. Excellent. We'll keep moving on here. Let's fill in the blanks here. So it says an exponent tells you how many times the base is being used as a factor. The common factor, again, is called a base, and so that's that number right here. Numbers expressed using exponents are called exponential, and then I'm going to write underneath this, form. So exponential form, that's how we write that. So let's do another couple of examples right here. I'm going to write them down and explain after I'm done. All right, so make sure you copy this down. What I've done here is that 10 to the 1st means 10 times itself 1 times. Well, that's just 10. 10 to the 2nd power means 10 times itself twice. So 10 times 10, that equals 100. 10 to the 3rd power is 10 times 10 times 10, so that's 10 times itself 3 times, and that equals 1,000. And you're probably starting to pick up on the pattern that when we have 10 raised to any power, the amount of zeros is the number of your exponents. So 10 to the 3rd, well, that's just 1 with 3 zeros at the end. That's 1,000. 10 to the 5th, that's just 1 with 5 zeros at the end. That's 100,000. We're going to write down a couple more examples, so I'll write and then we'll explain what we've done later. So exponents is definitely one place where we can use a calculator. So at this point, I'd like you to write down these examples. 6 to the 4th, 6 times 6 times 6 times 6. 5 squared is 5 times 5. 1/2, remember, exponents can be used with fractions and with decimals as well. So 1/2 squared, or to the 2nd power, is 1/2 times 1/2. And then 0.25, let's change this. 0.25 cubed is equal to 0.25 times 0.25 times 0.25. So we're going to try to calculate all these out with a calculator really quick, but before we do, this one should be pretty easy. Well, 1/2 times 1/2, if you remember the rules for multiplying fractions, all we do is we multiply the numerators and then the denominators, and so 1 times 1, we'll still have 1 on the top, And then 2 times 2, we're going to have 4 on the bottom. And so the answer to 1/2 squared is 1/2 times 1/2 equals 1 to the 4th, or sorry, 1/4 as a fraction. I'm going to go grab my calculator. You grab your calculator and see if you can figure out 6 to the 4th power, 5 to the 2nd power, and then 0.25 to the 3rd power. So maybe you have an iPhone like I do. And so if you turn that iPhone sideways, you can see it gives you a lot of options here. So let's do, well, what's our first one there? Okay, 6 to the 4th power. So I'm going to do 6, and then hit this button here, x to the y, and then 4. And that's saying 6 is your base, your x, and then your exponent is going to be y, the 4. Click equals, and we should get 1,296. And we can just check to make sure that's right, because 6 to the 4th is just going to be 6 times 6 times 6 times 6. Oh, yep, 1,296. 5 times 5, that's just a math fact. I'm just going to write that one down, 25. And now a little bit harder. So 0.25 times 0.25 times 0.25, that's 0.25 to the 3rd power. Let's see if we can figure that out on the calculator. I could do it the long way, but I'm just going to do 0.25, x to the y there, and then to the 3rd power. And check it out, because it's a decimal, every time you multiply it by itself, you're saying, hey, 0.25 parts of 0.25, it's going to get smaller. And so our answer is 0.0156, and I'm just going to round right there to the tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000ths place right there. All right, y'all, and that's our exponent review. Thanks for tuning in. Hope this was helpful.